Today I'm going to do a lecture on punishment. Essentially, you are a punishment agent. And to correct behaviors, it's very important to understand this concept. So let's see how punishment works, and let's see the side effects. And, you got to see if you can kind of crunch that behavior. The best way to do that is using speed. You want to make sure that the speed of your punishment is quick and ridding your behavior, and you also want to make sure that there's an intensity loss in behavior that you're reducing. So hopefully, if you understand this concept, you can get rid of behavior entirely. So first of all, punishment. The influences of punishment, or the effectiveness of punishment. What if the punishment behavior is positively reinforced? Let's think about that. And potential problems, not positive, potential problems with the use of punishment. Okay, punishment basics. The basic procedure akin to that for positive punishment. Punishment must be more intense than positive reinforcement. Punishment is always competing with positive reinforcement. You're adding stuff to your environment. You don't want to make sure that you're making your animal or person believe that it's okay to continue that behavior. Or you don't want to reinforce that behavior and see that thing come back. A punisher is considered to be effective if it either reduces the behavior quickly, ideally immediately, or reduces the behavior significantly. So you want to see it go away. You don't want to see that come back. The factors that influence the effectiveness of punishment is intensity. More intensity equals more effectiveness. The method of introduction. Punishment less effective if you start at low intensity and gradually build it. So you don't want to, see your animal or maybe the kid that you're working with. You don't want to start with the punishment being very low and gradually build up. That's not going to be effective. Immediacy. You want more immediate equals more effective. So try to get that punishment going as soon as you see that behavior. Contingency. Best if the punisher occurs, if only behavior occurs, not randomly. You don't want to be applying punishment and, your person or animal is seeing it, is not understanding why the punishment is happening, and the frequency of punishment. You want to keep it nice and steady. You don't want to make large gaps of time between these punishments, it's not going to be the best bet. Discrimination, best if there is not an SD signaling that the punisher is in effect. You don't want big warnings, right? You don't want, you don't want that stuff to be, you don't want it to be so easy for someone to notice it, try to keep it where there's not like a build up to it. Okay, so punishment competes with positive reinforcement. The stronger one is, the less effective the other will be. The stronger one is, the less effective the other will be. Okay, so frequency and size of positive reinforcement for response. The consequence that is larger / immediate, more frequent, more contingent will be stronger. So no matter what it is, if your subject is in need, if there's a high level of deprivation, then whatever that creature may be may start to apply a reinforcement to something that may be outside of your control. For example, a lot of homeless people will steal or go to jail, which you would see as punishment, right? Going to jail. But a homeless person may go to jail because they see going to jail as a positive reinforcement, because if he goes to jail, then maybe he'll get food. Maybe he'll get whatever he needs to do. Say he's a criminal. Maybe that's his way of making money. There may not be any other means of that, so they may see positive reinforcement. So there's a constant competition between those two. So you want to see alternative reinforcers that look similar to that behavior, apply something that's similar so that your subject isn't doing some sort of reinforcer that you're trying to get rid of, So An example of ineffective punishment. Punishment is intermittent and delayed. Yeah, you don't want, like I said, huge gaps between each one. The reinforcer is continuous and immediate. Once again, there's variations. You don't want them to be like, oh, well, I can go to my reinforcement immediately. That becomes easy. So you kind of need to find alternatives. The punisher is initially small and gradually increased. A great example is traffic tickets. Traffic tickets do not stop people from really speeding, especially people that are addicted to speeding. The price of the ticket at first is usually pretty low, and guys that own performance cars, let's say Mustang GTs, Corvette, stuff like that, that first ticket isn't going to stop them from speeding because it's a small ticket. Punishment is often signaled. Radar signs. CHP officers are basically they're like stimuluses that you'll see. They're SDs. And basically, speeding is highly reinforced. You see a cop car, you'll slow down. It doesn't reward you for not speeding. It's just if you get caught, the CHP or the radar signs now become SDs. So it's not that people aren't speeding; they're just not speeding when they're around police. No alternative behavior is available. Let's think about the speeding example. A great example for myself is I've owned sports cars. I went and bought a slow 5-speed manual lightweight car. Can't speed anymore. Still having the same reinforcement of driving fast and getting a little bit of adrenaline, but it's not enough that's going to get me in trouble. So now there's potential problems with punishment. You'll always expect aggression displayed by organisms being punished. That's pretty common. Even think about when someone gets pulled over, they're immediately going to get angry. Agent delivering the punishment becomes aversive. Once again, you're developing, your subject starts to develop animosity. Punishment does not teach new behavior. You're not always showing your subject new ways to do things or innovate. Punishment can negatively reinforce agents' behavior. Abusive behavior can develop this way. Ideally, combine punishment of inappropriate behavior with positive reinforcement for alternative, incompatible, or appropriate other behaviors. So try to find ways to innovate. If there is a cat, let's use a cat example that my professor provided. You're going to have the cat, and he's always going to be scratching up your furniture. You need that cat to scratch something else, and just punishing the cat is going to make the cat get confused. If he's scratching the furniture and you're messing with it, he's going to be like, oh, you're giving me attention for scratching the furniture. No, instead, let's try to get the cat to scratch something else, like a scratching post, or maybe you give the cat treats for doing another behavior, so the cat is no longer scratching the furniture. So you're applying a new behavior, an alternative. And in therapy, one of the biggest points of therapy is having more options for behavior, or more alternatives for the way that one is living. So thanks for watching, and I'll try to crank out more of these and try to get more in depth and review more. Thank you very much.